podcast. Dispatch. Oh god. It is another week in Star Citizen.
Let's go again. Go again.
Okay, we're going to start again, even though we're live. Right, here we go. Everyone ready? Everyone shut up.
Hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Quantum Dispatch podcast, your favorite Star Citizen podcast from the verse. And today we're talking about everything from the latest SCL, all about Starwear. We're also going to touch on the data breach, which is scary times. I'm sure everyone has been affected by that in some way, shape, or form, and what we are likely to see on the horizon of crafting with 4.7. But before we get into all that, how are we all doing? I think we should start with yourself, CJ, because you were not here last week. How are you, sir?
I am good. Coming back from the flu, and yeah, again, sorry, just a quick one. Missing the straight up, just missing the NDA Evocati stuff. It always seems to come out at the most inopportune times. But other than that, I'm all good. Loads of juicy stuff to talk about this week. But yeah, pass on. Who's the next one?
Pete.
Go on, Pete.
Hello everyone, how are we doing? Yeah, cool. I've been pretty busy this week.
Dr. Pete.
I've managed to jump in briefly on the PTU, but didn't get the chance to actually do anything really. But I saw the inventory, and it's pretty cool.
He's very cool.
It's very cool, very nice.
Very nice. Swanky?
Yes, very nice. Yeah, I had a good week. I've done my first driving lesson again.
Hey, nice.
Started learning again. It was good. I only killed 3 people. And came out with 2 tires left. It was great. Opposite sides. It worked really well. But no, it went really well. Busy week. I've spent at least 5 or 6 hours this week painting the house to get everything ready for when baby arrives. I managed to watch the SCL live, most of it while I was cooking. So how much of it I actually absorbed, I don't know, but we'll have all the information up. But yeah, I'm excited for stuff like Starwear. And I think they spoke about Genesis and a few other systems that are coming in soon. So very exciting.
Yeah, they're very exciting. I didn't actually know anything about Genesis being spoken about in the latest episode. I've managed to catch some of it. I saw the bits where they touched on sort of various points that are going to be coming soon and things that might be coming later this year. But I didn't actually see anything on Genesis, which is really exciting because that's one of the biggest things that I'm personally looking forward to is the Genesis and all the biomes and stuff, right?
God, yeah, me too.
Is that Starkitect or that's Genesis, right?
That is
Genesis is the biomes and stuff.
Yeah.
Starkitect, I think, is the modular building scape. I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
I can't remember. There's so many star things.
Yeah, I think that is though, right? But you get the sphere of influence for the generated stuff, and then it builds out, and you get a big area of 6,000 landing locations. Really, really neat. Really looking forward to that.
I'm trying to remember what they called that because they called it something, didn't they? I can't quite wrap my head around what it was.
Star environments.
Is it part of Starkitect?
I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's Starkitect. And they were talking about there being thousands of POIs. Yeah, and it was something like so many tens of kilometers between each point of interest or something like that. So you could literally fly over a planet and then just find hundreds of different places to go to, and that they'd link together and they would have specific uses. So yeah, that'd be exciting. And then that linked with Genesis would just be, could you imagine finding a POI in the middle of a dense jungle? That'd be so sick. And you have to land on the periphery and make your way through to get to it or something like that. That'd be so sick.
Yeah.
Can we get an Easter egg though, where it's just like Minecraft, jungle temples? And just in the middle of a jungle somewhere, there's a jungle temple that shoots arrows at you and stuff. I think we need little game Easter eggs around.
Easter eggs, 100%.
Easter eggs would be great. Imagine imagine a Far Cry, deep in the jungle. You've just got one of the rendition of the Far Cry outposts. That'd be really cool.
That'd be really cool. I think there will be little nods. They've kind of always done that. We saw the whole downed Scorpius, the Scorpius in the lake when it's been risen.
Oh yeah, the War Stars reference.
Yeah, War Stars.
War Stars.
So I think it would be really cool to see. What I want to find, to be honest, and I hope someone at CIG will do this for me, is just Shrek's shack in a swamp, or just even just a porta cabin.
Yeah,
just Shrek's porta cabin in the swamp. As long as that's there as an Easter egg to find, I'm really happy.
And every time you go to open the door, it's hello.
I was going to say, you open the door and he goes, somebody, the world is, you're in the shop. Yeah, just perfect. That'd be really cool. Yeah, I love that. Or just little things like there was what was that old sci-fi film? Was it The Navigator? Do you remember that with like the silver spaceship that came down and the kid ends up going in the ship and trying to find? I think it's called The Navigator. But having like old sci-fi references in places, like old ships downed in the middle of a forest or a jungle or something, it would be so cool. So cool.
I don't recall that.
It'd be cool, like if you're on.
Let me look this up.
It'd be cool if they make either a water-based planet where like it's like 90% water, or they do it on Hurston and you just go out into the middle of the ocean. You'll never find it. You may one day find it, and it's just got tars. It's just like there in the middle of the water, and it's one of those things that these Easter eggs should be things that you'll never find, right? Like Pico Cave. Allegedly, the Pico Cave is out there, never been found, but it's out there. And in 10 years, 15 years' time, someone may just find a random Easter egg.
I don't think it's real, but I really hope it is.
Yeah.
I was going to do an entire like weekend of searching for it with a whole bunch of people, and then I was talking about it on a live stream and someone said no, it's not real. But I don't know how they know it's not real. So do you know what I mean? Maybe it is. Maybe I got gaslit into not doing it.
The film was called The film was called Flight of the Navigator, by the way. So I was a little bit far off on that, but yeah.
There's one Easter egg I would love to see though, and I'm only saying it because Dan's in chat. But do you know the game that he made?
Yes.
Momentum, and on one of the arcade machines, you know, like in Grim Hex, you got like a little arcade room, but on one of them, you can just play Momentum on there. That'd be really cool.
Sick.
That'd be really
agreed.
sick. Because it's acknowledging your staff's work, right? And it would be cool to have something like that in there, just something really trivial, but be pretty sweet.
On the back of that, I would also like to see like certain machinima creators, like their work appear on like screens or TVs in like bars and places like that, like or like newsreels be done by the machinima creators. Like on a regular basis, they say, this thing's coming up. Can you create me this bit of machinima ready for this event that happens? And that way then Star Citizen creators have an opportunity of their work shaping the future of Star Citizen. Because that'd be really goddamn cool.
But the only problem with that is what level do you stop? Because do you have content creators that are doing reaction content to someone else's reaction content and then display it on there, but then get told off because you stole their reaction content, right? You don't want that. Like,
you post the reaction of the reaction of the reaction.
Reaction
of the reaction of the reaction of the reaction.
Exactly. The original webcam is like really microscopic in the background.
Yeah. And there's just multiple different cameras going in a spiral backwards. No, I think it would have to be like some that would be vetted, but it would just be machinima. It would be people who make machinima of that specific thing. You know, that kind of thing. Like a Fatbird, for example. Yeah. You know, that kind of thing. Get Fatbird to do a news bit or news edit.
Yeah.
And yes, that's because he uses me for some of his voiceover work, and it will get my voice in the game. But that's, which is eventually what I've always wanted, and hopefully, who knows, God's willing, might happen one day.
But it was similar to what we did on in our national the National Space Center event for the watch party, and we just had like sound clips from obviously like a couple of people, but we had like Board Gamer just did a random sound clip in the background, and 90% of people probably didn't notice, but it was there. And then when you do notice, you can't unhear it.
There was a couple of people who noticed mine, and they were like, are you talking about double dogs? And I'm like, yep. Yes, I am.
Just a disclaimer for anyone that is listening to us on Spotify. A minute ago, you may have thought Swanky was body shaming. He's not. Fatbird is a well-known content within the community, and he produces the finest machinima. We may continue.
Yes.
I think it's the best,
you know what?
to be fair. The best machinima.
I am very biased because I'm part of some of his work, but yes, it is the best.
Yeah.
His eye for timing and scale and like comedic timing and everything else is just. I must say though, he does have a group of people around him that work with him on these scripts and stuff like that who are immensely talented. Like so, I'm like massive kudos to him, but even more kudos to the people that work with him on a direct basis.
I think it's he's a professional in the industry, right? He works on actual movies and stuff. He edits, and he's a professional editor, so he's taking real skills into it. Whereas a lot of creators like myself, who have done little machinima stuff or whatever, we've done videos that are like cinematic-esque. we're just taking our very low base knowledge from things we might have done or other projects we might have done, like making short films. Whereas when you have a professional that knows camera angles and camera science and all that kind of stuff, lighting, like
Makes such a difference.
makes all the difference to show something that's truly like a masterpiece. So yeah, Fat Bird is just unbeaten, unmatched in my opinion as well. So I'd love to see his stuff.
And if you haven't seen it yet, please head to YouTube and look at Spirit Breaker Part 2.
Right.
Just look out for a character called Spectre. He'll be in there somewhere.
I'm conscious that we're 15 minutes in and we've been absolutely gassing up Fat Bird, which is no problem. I love the guy, but we should probably get onto the topics of this week's episode.
Waffle.
The waffle. The waffle. I think we are allowed 15 minutes of waffle every episode, and then it's 45 minutes of actual content. Because someone right now is somewhere is listening to this in their car on Spotify and seething at the fact that we haven't got to the actual bulk of the episode.
We need a sound. We need a sound thing that we can get on one of these pads that just goes waffle, waffle, waffle,
Yeah.
waffle. You know, like the lizard one. Just waffle,
yeah.
waffle. Just so we know someone's waffling on. As I'm currently doing. So let me just mute my mic.
The craziest podcast out there.
I like that.
All right. So, shall we start to talk about Starwear? Is that a topic we wanted to touch on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's
CJ
a key
is
one.
very excited.
I think it's a double-edged sword in a way. Well, not a double-edged sword. What's the word? What I'm trying to say. It's like a double-fronted attack in the sense that we have the Starwear of like wearing costumes, right? So I started blasting. So we have this. We have the costumes of like wearing normal outfits on our spaceship, and then we have suit lockers that we're going to then take into, you know, we're going to actually have to change into our EVA suits to leave the ship and stuff, which I'm really excited for. I don't want to see everyone just wearing their favorite armor 24/7, flying a ship in a massive piece of armor.
Yeah.
I want to see that gone as soon as possible. So, what part of Starwear do you personally think is going to be the thing you're looking forward to most, or the thing that you will use the most?
I think, like, if you two are happy for me to go first.
No, but continue.
Fair enough. All right, CJ, away you go.
No, go on. You go.
Okay, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Love you. But for me, I just think I think one thing has to come first before that, which is for different armors to mean something and to have a knock-on effect. For example, you can't be wearing heavy antium armor and fly a ship effectively, which eventually means you're going to have to think, I can't wear that. Let's just put the title of the stream. Tell CJ he has some poo on his t-shirt. So I think it has to mean something first, and once it means something, then I think I'll be more excited for it. Because then I'm like, right, well, if I want to fly my ship effectively, I need to make sure I have a flight suit ready, because I'm going to be doing this. But then if I want to get out, I'll have my heavy armor next to me. And then also, if whether or not, like, on planets, they end up making it that you can't go through a terminal in heavy armor, for example. Maybe you can't come out of your hangar and actually go into the city wearing heavy armor with weapons on. So you have to take it off and be wearing normal clothes to get in. You know, stuff like that. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to it being a little bit more in depth. Suit lockers need to be in before they stop you wearing it. Yes. Hopefully. I mean, it would make sense for suit lockers to come with Starwear. So I hope it does. But that's a hope. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And now I'll stop talking and I'll go up to CJ, who is next.
Yeah, well, so I'm looking forward to Starwear. As you might remember, the bug that made undersuits invisible, so people could wear clothing and armor sets at the same time. That is basically what we need Starwear to be, I think. Because let's face it, it's always rule of cool. Like, what do you do when you play Warhammer or paint Warhammer? Rule of cool. What do you do when you buy a car? Rule of cool. Like, what ships do you buy? Do you buy them because they've got certain SCUs of storage? Some idiots might, but rule of cool for the most part. That's why you choose Drake. But yeah, again, we do need suit lockers before. But I would be very happy to just deal with no animation for swapping clothing in like a suit locker. So like the suit locker's got like a mannequin in it, or even like a magical mannequin. And you go up to it, just press F on it, and it takes off all your clothes and swaps it with the armor set that's currently in there. I think that should just be T0. And to be fair, I'll be happy with that for the whole time. Like, we don't need to be able to...
I was going to say, are you wanting that T0 or would you want it to change eventually?
I would be happy if that stayed as it is, because I don't want to get into my ship and then click change helmet, change arms, and then you swap in one thing at a time. You also know that you need to take off your arms, legs, and your helmet or your core before you can take off your undersuit and your helmet. So it's really hard how they're going to layer that system to make it work, because you're going to have to do your helmet first and then everything else and then your undersuit, and then by that point the suit locker's full. So where's your clothes? Like, where are they located? They're in another storage box. What's the point of doing the suit lockers if you've now got to walk across your ship naked to get to another storage location to get your clothes? So I'd be happy with just to press F to swap, and it would just change your load up.
For a small level of immersion, just to devil's advocate you here, would you be happy with like a small sound effect and then it's just the helmet that's going back on? Or like the final bit of doing the next suit up, so there's still that small level of, like with the helmets at the moment, taking them on and off. It's pretty damn cool. Like, would you have it that at the end you're putting the new helmet on and then that's the new outfit? But I agree, you wouldn't want to sit there for 15 to 20 seconds watching you go, oh, got my zipper stuck again.
Yeah.
Like, you just... Obviously not that, but
you've got to bear in mind Chris Roberts does want that. Like,
yeah,
he wants that level of like realism, right? Like, but I'm okay with that as long as it's not 20 seconds. Like,
that's it. It needs to be snappy.
If it's like a 5-second animation of you look down and you see your character like zip up their flight suit and then the helmet goes on, or something to that nature, absolutely fine with that. But I'm equally also okay with it just being a drag and drop and appear and not being an animation at all. But knowing how Chris Roberts works and what they say in like all the SCLs, what Jared says about how his attention to detail is crazy, then I wouldn't be shocked if it's like a full-on animation of like, stepping into your shoes and stuff and pulling on your dungarees.
Yeah, it's... I wouldn't mind if it was just like for tier 0, it's a swap. First iteration is you kind of just like... You maybe walk into the suit locker and it does like an Iron Man thing where like it just pulls your armor off to the sides and it just like clips through you kind of thing. And then you walk out and like if you put your armor on, you kind of like walk out and then it's the animation of putting your helmet on at the end and then you're good to go. It doesn't have to be realistic in my opinion, because let's face it, the rest of the game isn't realistic. So like, why would you scrimp out on realism where it matters to realism where it doesn't? It's purely cosmetic. But I feel like certain ships have got like 4 suit lockers in, and I know they're for the crew, but they're not going to be though, are they? They're going to be for one person who's solo Idris piloting, because these Maelstrom changes, which we'll come on to, now solidifies solo Idris players, and they've got all their different clothing items lined up, and they can just take a pick whether they want light armor, medium armor, drip, and all that sort of stuff. But I'd be happy for it to just be simple to start with.
Yeah, I think it will be, right? That's usually how they do it, and then they slowly iterate until it's more complicated. But yeah, that makes total sense. I think, Pete, we'd like you to weigh in here. How are you feeling with Starwear? Do you think it's going to make the game more have more friction because it's going to slow things down? You can't just jump straight off your ship. You've got to put a flight suit on and stuff so you can survive EVA. Or do you think that's going to be a net benefit for the game, and are you looking forward to that kind of gameplay?
It's a great question. It's definitely going to add the element of, probably, if you want to be fluid, you're going to need more crew, because that time, people aren't going to want to take that time. I personally wouldn't be looking forward to going, right, okay, I'm going to fly the ship and go off to go and get my armor ready, whilst everyone is like, we're ready to go. We're in our jump seats. We're ready to go. So you'll probably find that the pilot would just stay in that sort of role play as the pilot, take off, hold a pattern above the location, or do something else. And then when you come in off the op, there could be someone that's like ready to blast you out the sky. You then have to take off your armor before you can get in the pilot seat to take off. There's a lot of rigmarole involved, and I think people go, oh yeah, it's fine to begin with, and then they'll encounter moments like that, and then it's going to become a bit tedious.
Especially when you can shoot people in their own hangars as well. If for you to be able to go through, and I love the roleplay of going through customs and not being able to have a gun on you. Like, you can do that in almost every country in the world currently, and you don't have to carry weapons with you all of the time. But if you can be shot in your own hangar, there kind of needs to be a suit locker like at the entrance to your hangar, so you can get swapped. But then what about if you're just running a box mission? And then you've just gone out and your armor set, you've come back in, you brought the box in, you got to get changed to then take the box into the station, to then come back to put your armor back on, to then go back out to just to go and do a 4K box mission. There's going to be a point when you're now just going to not see people wearing armor.
Unless the box drop-offs have to be in a place that don't require you taking your armor off.
They could be in
Like, as
a Covalex. Yeah,
Yeah,
they should have little Covalex drop-off boxes inside your hangars. Would be really useful. But yeah,
I would like to see, and I really hope they do this with the progression of things like Starwear, is a airtight helmet of sorts that can be worn with like just your without a flight suit, just a normal helmet that can be maybe more of like a face mask that's airtight. So it's not a protective helmet, it's not going to stop a bullet, but it's more almost just like a face covering that you can breathe in places with no atmosphere. So if you are doing a box mission and you're in your leather jacket and it's a bit cold outside, but it's not like the vacuum of space, but maybe the O2 levels are a bit low, or maybe it's high in nitrogen, just like a gas mask type device that allows
they
you to
have
breathe.
one in game. They already have
work?
one in game, but it doesn't function.
Okay.
It's like a roll up thing, like you literally put it over your head. It's a plastic bag.
Oh, I have seen
And
that.
yeah. But it doesn't function as it should. But if that did function, then yeah, that would be perfect, because you can just go wear like dripped out, and you can just do that. But then again, you could get shot, and you're currently just like wearing loose fitted clothing.
But that's your choice, right? You've decided to
yeah.
not put on armor to leave. But at least the helmet is something that is a workaround, is what I'm thinking.
Don't you fucking laugh at that. Don't you even laugh. Can we ban him?
What? I don't even know what he was laughing at.
Yeah, mod in chat. Can we ban?
Darth
To be fair,
Brody in chat.
CJ, you should use a plastic bag on your head. Kiss.
All right.
But I think I responded to this before to someone in saying that, yeah, the game is getting more complex. What I hope for is that obviously the complexity is going to continue, because they want it to be in depth, they want it to be realistic, you want to be immersed in it. But then on the flip side, I hope there are ways and options, if people choose to take them, that the game can be simpler if you want it to be, but you have the option to go for the depth and complexity if you wish, rather than being forced into it. Because like Hyperion very rightly said, it's just like, and I know, sorry, Total Geezer said as well, I love complexity but dislike grind. So hopefully we get loads of complexity but not much grind. And I feel like, unfortunately, one comes with the other. So it'll be interesting to see how they try and balance it out, so everything isn't tedious and time restrictive or a bit of a time grind, but actually still remains fun and fluid. But, yeah.
I think that's the goal of that. Everything they add to the game, keeping things fun and fluid, but also adding complexity. A great example of that, I guess, is cargo gameplay, right? When they added cargo gameplay on, there's no doubt that the physicalized cargo created a whole bunch of friction and slowed cargo gameplay down times 10.
A ton, yeah.
A load. So, and not everyone was happy about that, but it was a needed change. And I think as long as they get the AI systems in place as soon as they possibly can, with also loading and unloading with AI crew and staff at the stations that can come and unload for a fee, then I think it does make it a good net, or a net positive change. Whereas right now it still feels like maybe it isn't. It still feels maybe a bit too tedious for the majority of people that don't love cargo. But even the average player should be okay with running some cargo and not feel a bit miffed off with how tedious it is. And I think we're not quite there yet. I think we do need a level of AI crew doing stuff. So hopefully we see that soon. I think that'd be good.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to pull back onto the IC stuff? Obviously, we'll nip onto Concierge Challenge in about 15 minutes, so we'll get through the next part of, obviously, the chat was Starwear, but now we've got what's next?
I mean, they did talk about Maelstrom, didn't they?
Yeah, to be fair, we alluded to that, so we should probably cover that. because so it sounds very, very interesting, but to me, and maybe someone in the chat, if you've got a better understanding of it, they've reaffirmed solo like Idris gameplay or like small crew Idris, small crew Polaris, because now your damage is based off of alpha. So if you're using something like light strikes, which is a low alpha, high fire rate weapon, you are now restricted to what you can physically damage. They damage shields as they usually would, so it doesn't matter if this is obviously just for armor. But so now to damage a hull of a vehicle, you would either need, I think this only includes lasers. I don't know if ballistics are different, but if you're using lasers, for example, you need lasers that are high enough alpha damage to do damage to that armor. So if you're using like light strikes, like I said, which are notorious for low alpha but high fire rate, which is what gives them their DPS, they're no longer going to do anything. But if you're using MXAs, you're going to do damage to classes of vehicles higher than you. So you can punch up with like the Ion, for example, will be very good, because that is a prime example of a high alpha damage weapon, but low fire rate. So it's still got that ability to punch up. Whereas if you're using something like an arrow and you've got size 1, size 2 light strikes on it, I don't know what the Maelstrom, like what alpha has to be to impact certain weapons, vehicles, but you may not be able to hit anything that's like a Redeemer, for example. You probably won't be able to do any damage to like a Deemer or Retaliator. You would only be locked to that class, which I think is really, really cool. But again, like it said, it's the Idris buff, another Idris buff, because now you are going to need the Ion and your higher level, like your M9As and stuff like that, to do decent damage on it.
Although Total Geezer has a lead, what he's just said there, a big thing though is that the resistance only applies to the armor. Small guns can still destroy turrets and non-vital parts. So, like, I quite like it in terms of the fact that you have to think. This is what they wanted ages ago, isn't it? When they changed the flight model last time, it was to try and be, you have to think about what ship you're taking out to fight against what thing, etc., etc. It means there's a reason to use a ship. So all of a sudden we might see retaliators again. We'll see gladiators with torpedo racks and etc., etc., and stealth bombers. Whereas before they weren't needed. There was no point of them because you could do exactly the same thing in an arrow as long as you dodged enough. Now we're going to see varied fleets of different ships depending on what needs to be taken down. But a fighter could still, fighters could still take on an Idris. They wouldn't kill it right out, but they could completely disable its engines and its turrets, and it's just a sitting duck. And all of a sudden they're at a stalemate, and then one of them has to go, cool, I'll pop back to Everest, I'll go grab me tally. Can't shoot him down anymore. You know, like, I don't know where they're from, but like...
Yeah, I was going to say, what's that supposed to be, like East London?
Mate, go get me tally.
Yeah, just nip me tally, mate.
Yeah, tally, mate. Gonna bomb him, innit? Like, me tally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Hyperion. Don't judge me. But no, I quite like it. And leading on from that, I really hope Maelstrom gives you those moments of, like, you know, a few episodes back we were talking about the punch of a cannon, like from the Perseus, for example. You pull alongside an Idris and a Perseus, you turn the cannons around, bam, bam, hits the side of it. You see debris and shrapnel coming off the side of it because you've hit and the shields are down. Like, I kind of, I know it's only a little thing, but I kind of hope with Maelstrom that something like that happens. Like, what is it? The opening to is it Clone Wars? Star Wars, where the two giant starships are going past each other and the broadsides, like, that's the kind of thing I want to see from Maelstrom. That would just be...
Yeah, going back onto the point of fighters won't be able to damage the hulls of bigger vehicles. So the meta now fighting certain vehicles like an Idris is going to be the swarm tactics. So how they said was you screen it. So you've got tons of light fighters in there, medium fighters, heavy fighters. You still got your ions and stuff chipping away from like a decent distance, but the Idris isn't going to be able to get a lock on those ions because there's going to be oodles of light fighters flying around the vehicle. You're now destroying PDCs. PDCs are going to be like priority one targets to light fighters now, because once those PDCs are down, then the Polaris and the Eclipse and the Retaliator and even things like the Harbinger and what other vehicles have got like size 5 missiles, torps and above on. That's now what's going to do all the damage, but you can rip apart turrets as well. So like the Idris M and the Idris, whatever the other one is, the one with the laser and one with the railgun, you can just now effectively try and damage that turret, and you've just disabled that Idris effectively. Like, he ain't going to be able to do decent damage to you. So that's now going to be the gameplay, I don't think. And they said this from the start. They don't want you hard deffing ships. That weren't going to be the thing. They want you to soft def them in regards to disabling components and disabling their drive propulsion systems, and then you have to board it, kill the internals of the crew. Like on Idris's and Polaris's and Perseus's, probably like medium ships and above, hard deffing ships is going to be very difficult. So I can kind of get it, but I'm not. It's going to be. It now removes the solo pilot stuff. You now can't play as a solo. You have to play as an org. You have to play as a team. And they're further reaffirming that statement that it's a team-based game. It's not a thing you can do as a solo. So
to be fair to them, they have said that they are trying to think of ways that they can help solo players with everything they do. Yeah. And they don't want to force people into playing with other people or to do team-based games. But in the same stroke, there will be things in this game
that you can't do solo.
Yeah. And that's the same as every MMO, and it's fine. There's always things that you can try and do solo, but you almost will never be able to do it. And you kind of have to team up with other people. Like one of the massive raids in Destiny, ultimately, you're never going to do that solo.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things like, it is what it is. That's how MMOs work, and sort of just get on board with that. And
because the thing is that if they made the whole thing just doable for solos, then there would be no emphasis on. There would be no reason to play in groups if it was all just achievable solo, because they'd have to make it a certain level to be achievable solo, which then wouldn't be enticing for groups. What's enticing for groups is the idea that it takes a lot of people to get something. So you need to have stuff for them, and then stuff for the solos. And the stuff for the groups isn't necessarily going to appeal to the solos, and stuff for the solos isn't going to appeal to groups. That's just making an MMO.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, and that's a huge part of what an MMO is, and it's the hallmark of what makes a good MMO. You want those moments, and I'm looking forward to being dragged into fleet battles without even wanting to be part of a fleet battle. I'm looking forward to randomly being recruited, like me and a big group of my pals doing our own thing, and we get recruited to work with other people, which again happens a lot in MMOs, and I love that gameplay. But equally, I'm really looking forward to just doing my own thing solo from time to time. So. Yeah, I think we're moving in the right direction. I think we've just got a long way to go.
And I think adding to the Maelstrom bit as well, as they were talking about it on the ISC about we saw it at CitizenCon 2024, where the jungle biomes, you're walking through the water and there's like the logs are moving out the way. And they spoke about it recently about the fact that he said, yes, Chris Roberts does want trees to be able to be destroyed. Like, so, so, you will have that moment of you crash into a forest and it's like, as you plow a path through the middle of it and then crash on the other side would just be, chef's kiss. But like, just the idea that like paired with Genesis and those, I'd happily crash into a planet. Like, hell yeah, I'll crash into a biome just to go and discover what's going on. Maybe have to go and do some hand mining to get the materials I need to fix my ship up to then try and fly away again. Like a solo man survival story. You can see the YouTube title now. Crash landed on desert planet, found the materials I needed, fixed my ship and escaped, etc., etc. Like, I think Pete, what's your thoughts and feelings on Maelstrom? I realise we've done a lot of talking, which doesn't surprise anyone. But what do you think? I'm going to mute my mic now.
I never seem to get a word. Let's continue with the multi-crew and like the Idris sort of thing. We've already sort of tackled it before, where you could say, hey, let's have a weapons officer. Let's make sure that he's delivering the power to the ship in the areas that is required most. But even then, that would drop it down to a minimum of like a 2-person. It's just not fulfilling, is it? It does not fulfilling its purpose in game. It's like, as Hyperion says, person A problem. It buy a ship. It's it's a multi-crew ship. They go, oh yeah, I'm gonna play it solo. I personally think the only ship in the game that is pay to win is the Idris, coupled with the K kit. You put all of those PDCs on it. I did it with the cargo mission. I was like doing it solo, hands in the air. Like I tested it. It is pay to win. No other ship could you really do that without a crew. So it needs a crew. It needs to come pretty soon. But this game, it could be like layers of an onion, and there are further layers to be revealed. I knew you'd like that. I knew you'd like that reference.
Onions are they're like ogres.
Yeah.
Ogres have layers.
So let's peel back some future layers of the onion and find further complexity in the systems. It might just be they want to guide people down the garden path to get to the center of the onion. But right now we're on that layer 2 or 3.
Yeah, and just to pick up on this comment in chat from Irenis Polaris. I'm so sorry. I didn't. Whatever. I'm not. My English is not my native language. So what this person says is that it's been announced that every ship in Star Citizen is playable solo. Yes and no. Every ship in the game is playable. You can get on it and fly it, but operational to the full extent, absolutely not. Like the multi-crew numbers on the ship page mean something. And yeah, maybe when we get AI crew that can mount the turrets, sure. But are you ever going to really have AI that can walk around your ship and man a mining laser and all things like that, and then mine where you want them to mine? That's pie in the sky. That's never going to happen. So yes, every ship is usable as a solo player, but as a fully operational vehicle, there's no chance you're going to operate an Idris solo or even a mole. Well, you can do a mole solo, but again, not to the full extent of having a crew. Yeah, you can do it. It's just not efficient. So, yeah, I just don't see that. And rightfully so. That's what that crew number means. You've got to have people with you, whether it's AI or players.
Yeah, I do think that the Idris, and it's been mentioned a number of times, you do need a weapons seat. We saw it on the Squadrons gameplay, that the Javelin or the Javelins have a weapons engineer who, and in one of the lines I think it says is get me a firing solution on that kingship. So there needs to be, even if the pilot can fire the weapon, but it can't fire the weapon unless the weapons seat is the one that targets and the one that like can pick a point to aim the gun at and highlight certain things on the ships that you want to hit. But having the highest alpha damage weapon in the game that can shoot the farthest in the game as well, being operated by one person, and the fact that you can now have an org of roughly 35 people can take 35 Idrises, and it will probably absolutely batter this this battle cruiser when it comes out. There's what's the point? I do think you do need a weapons seat. It's the same as any modern day military vehicle or vessel. The person that's piloting or driving or whatever isn't the one that clicks the go button on the things. It should be someone whose dedicated role is to do that. And as for the Reclaimer, the Reclaimer can be played solo, yes, but it does involve you getting out of seats and moving around. So you should be able to do it on the Idris. If you can park up somewhere and someone's stationary and you get out the seat into the weapon seat to then target and fire, props to you. That's great. Do that. But
it's
you shouldn't be able to do that from one seat.
It's all well and good saying that it's soloable, but as soon as you get a ship that's bigger than, I don't know, takes you more than 5 seconds to run from one side to the other, engineering screws you. If you get into combat in an Idris and you're fighting another Idris that's fully crewed, you will lose. If you fight 5 Perseuses, you will lose. Because as soon as they set a fire to your to any part of your ship, and there's a fire spreading and destroying your components, or a relay goes
You
down,
like
you've got no
sub-target a
power to use your
component.
laser.
Yeah.
PDCs go down, you've got no power, you've got to go and change it. Your solo arse is running around the ship repairing relays. You're dead. So, yes, they are soloable, but engineering makes it borderline impossible to in a combat scenario to survive. If there's a ship either the same as yours or multiple ones that are smaller, they punch a hole in the side and start burning your ship down. You ain't going to be able to do nothing about it. So there are levels to it. I want the game to be able to be playable by solos, but there are limitations to that. I don't want to see a solo Idris player doing everything on his own. It should never be like that. At the end of the day, that's, if you spent $1,000, $1,500 on it, you hopefully have thought, I'm going to need to crew this with people or AI at some point. And if you haven't, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's even smaller like vehicles, modern vehicles that we've got currently, like the British Challenger 2 tank, the American Abrams, the French Leclerc. You name a tank, the driver can't shoot the gun. For the most part, there are some caveats to that, but for the most part, the driver cannot shoot the gun. You have a gunner. So why can you jump in a certain vehicle, and can you do it in the Nova, the Tonk in game?
Yes. No, you can fire and drive.
And drive, yeah. So it's just a thing with it, and I get it. The game, they're trying to make it just arcadey to cater for people that don't have groups of people to play the game with. And obviously, like it's been mentioned, for people that are spending thousands of pounds on a ship, you're going to want it to be expected to be able to complete everything and dominate everything in the game. But realistically, that shouldn't be a thing. That's never a thing. So
it could be a key aspect that you introduce different elements of this to different manufacturers. So it would become sort of like a modus operandi of, say, like Drake, that everything is manual because they don't have the luxurious systems that, say, like Origin would have. And then obviously there comes your difference in price, it comes difference in complexity. There's ways to balance it.
Yeah,
Also
and they
ways to
will.
unbalance.
Gameplay's key. If there's something that is way out of whack and the meta, it will be balanced at some point. Rest assured. Like, that is what that's what game devs do. They make the game as balanced and best they can. That's the aim, right? To make it fair, or at least balanced in scenarios. So, I think I was speaking to, and I can't remember if it is who it was, but someone that was a developer said to me, it's a lot easier for developers to add something into a game that maybe is a little bit too powerful and then dial it back or nerf it back to being in a good position and balanced than it is to add something that's underpowered and then buff it to a level position. It's a lot easier to draw back from something that's overpowered than the other way around. So that's why you do see a lot of things come in and you're like, whoa, this is way overpowered. It's kind of by design to find the baseline and then slowly dial it back until it's crisp and perfect. And we'll see that. We'll see that with everything that's in the game right now. You've got to bear in mind that half the systems in the game currently are not the finished article. So much more needs to be done to get them into a position where then everything else lines up.
I was thinking as well, like going back to the point that was being made before about like the battle cruiser that's coming in and a load of like solo Idrises. Like, if you think if that's fully crewed, that battle cruiser, you'll have dedicated engineers going around fixing things, sorting things out, replacing fuses. If on that dedicated battle cruiser, you then get them all to target subcomponents of those Idrises, all of a sudden they're on fire, smoke filling up, components failing. I reckon it could quite easily bat away quite a few of, if not all of the Idrises, if needs be. Like that needs to be the way that it is. That needs to be the way that it works. Yeah.
It needs to be a stark difference if you solo or even duo or trio an Idris and you come against a crewed Idris, you need to get slapped very quickly. Like, there needs to be like no contention of, if someone brings in 3 solo crewed Idrises, they can take on one like big crewed Idris. Like, that should never be a thing. You shouldn't be able to fight like basically above your class just because you have more. And I know that's literally what the Americans do. They just throw more people at things and they just throw more bombs at things and all that sort of stuff. They're not worried about like the it's a bit difficult because it's a bit blasphemous being from a different nation, but you shouldn't be able to just be a solo in a ship, and just because you're solo, you've got more solo friends, you can just throw more ships at things. If you go against someone who's fully crewed, fully what's the word? You've done properly. You've optimized your fleet composition. You should wipe the floor of anybody. It shouldn't be close. Like, yeah, you might take some losses, but percentage-wise, it shouldn't even be a close combat. But yeah. But anyway, I do think we do need to move on to the
concierge challenge.
Yes, because
Alright.
we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So before we get into this, so I don't know if you guys heard it. I did post it in our little group chat, but I did make a couple of versions of the updated song. So I made a shorter version of the original, then I made a cheeky little new one.
Okay.
So I think that's the one we're gonna play. It's nothing stupid, don't worry. It's it's good, okay? All right. So without further ado, before CJ shares his screen and we get into the bulk of this concierge challenge, is this the new one? Oh, it's a 50-50 if it's the new one. I can't remember which one's which. It might be this one. Actually, I can preview it. Here we go. Hang on.
How is he the producer?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is it. Okay.
One moment, please.
Okay. And here we go.
It's the Concierge Challenge.
I think that's pretty
Oh, wait. With the end of that, I thought I was going to go up,
Yeah. I thought that was a drop.
up. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a drop. Yeah, nah, for sure. Yeah, cool. Let me see if I can share my screen. See how I do this.
So while CJ does it, for anyone that doesn't know... Oh, why is it going to... There we go. For anyone that doesn't know, this is the Concierge Challenge. It's something that we run here at the Quantum Dispatch, and you can get involved by going to our website. There'll be a link down below wherever you're watching. And over to the website, click on the big button that says Concierge Challenge, and this is where you can enter. You essentially have to build a fleet, the most well-rounded fleet that you can possibly think of, and then give us a written description as to why you've picked the fleet for whatever gameplay scenarios that you're looking to do with said fleet. There is a limit of $1,000, hence why it's the Concierge Challenge, and you have to try and get as close to that as possible. CJ, whose fleet is this today? Dreamsmith's.
Yes.
Okay. Dreamsmith and Swanky, would you like to take it away, sir?
Absolutely. So let's start with the industrial starters. Let's face it, not everyone likes those loops, so this would be good to try them out without overly committing. The Max gives some multi-crew and transport for the Nurser. Pick this so you can use it to drive to bases that have good air cover and provide medical support at the same time. Gladius and Paladin, a solid solo fighter. Solid multiplayer combat covers the Max, lack of pew-pew. MPU VT for cargo slinging instead of on-foot EVA. Pulse LX for racing, and it has a small footprint for taking you where you're leaving the Max at home. I finished with a Titan for those package deliveries and general runabout. Fleet summary, $1,000. Total spend, $1,000. Remaining, 0. Ship count, 9. Ta-da!
Very impressive.
Nice.
Thank you, Junior.
That wasn't Sean Connery, by the way, if anyone thought. Sean Connery hadn't risen from the dead to do that.
It was
Swanky.
Corn Shonery. It was his brother.
It was Corn Shonery live on Spotify.
Ta-da!
And that was Mr. Bean. Okay. So who wants to start?
Hold on, before we begin, Total Geezer said, Swanky, is there any plans for a QD donation reward system where you give a random read over of a bedtime story in a random voice? The ASMR bedtime version of QD will be releasing later this year.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. Welcome to Orison, city of sleep. Go to sleep. Go the boop to sleep. Cool. Okay.
All right.
I've done a lot of talking, so I'm going to let someone else go first.
No dramas.
Had
Go on,
too much
Pete.
of my voice.
I think I can see in your face you really want to get into it. That little smile. It was
He
that
did-
smile.
He did a Minecraft. And
he
I was like,
did.
oh, he's thinking something.
It's the single. It's the arm on the back of the head and the single finger on lips that makes you think he's really pondering over this. Anyone listening on Spotify, you're missing out on these amazing visuals.
Where to begin?
And if you are listening on Spotify, you need to head over to the YouTube to watch this later on, because the concierge challenge is very funny.
Or the Twitch if you want to watch the VOD. Any platform, really.
It's got a lot of
OnlyFans.
positives.
Not yet.
It's got a lot of what, sorry, Pete?
It's got a lot of positives. It lends itself to many areas. Bounty hunting isn't jumping out at me, but it's not what he's aiming for. He is aiming for essentially hauling with guns and light industry. So he's got salvaging, albeit the salvation, but he's utilized all $1,000 of his spend. He's got a paladin just to go and be a nuisance. Starlancer Max. I like the fact that Paladin's in there. It's fun. He said, I'm here to go and have fun. This is like a quarter of my budget. I'm going to go have fun with them.
Yeah. I rate it.
I do not like that the Drake Vulture is not in here,
Okay.
but I like that Drake Golem is in. And then you've got the Starlancer Max to deal with the backbone of the task with the hoiking it around the verse. He's got racing in there with the ground vehicle with the Pulsar Lex. He's got the... He hasn't got your rock, Miner, but I'll leave that to you in a moment. He's got a light fighter, very versatile light fighter in the Gladius, which is always at the top of the gold pass menu. Who is breathing down their microphone?
Probably me.
Yeah, CJ.
Yeah, so he's got his little taxi with the Avenger Titan. Probably my favorite is in like nostalgic of the starter ships. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's my favorite. The Empuff tractor. Why? I don't see a decent use case for it. He's got the Medivac, so he's got medical gameplay. Shove that in the back of the Starlancer Max. Can the Empuff go in? I think the Starlancer Max is probably not big enough to carry. So
Starlancer Max is...
You can carry a Fury. But
yeah. Oh, no, that's the TAC. This is the Max. It doesn't have the hanger.
Does it not have the hanger? Oh, right, okay.
No,
Yeah, so-
not this one.
No.
Don't understand why the Empuff tractor is in there. You've already got hauling. Why have you got a tractor?
I think the Empov tractor would only be there if there was something to do with potentially looking for like base building in the future or something like that, because that's transporting small amounts of good from place to place.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
reason for
rapid
it.
onload, offload. Yeah, I get that. I don't know. I'll think on my score. I'll come back to it in a moment. I'll pass it on to whoever wants to speak next.
I don't mind going next.
Yep.
Go for it. mate.
I think again, I like the Starlancer Max. I love that ship. I'm a big fan of that. The Gladius is good. Avenger Titan has a soft spot in my heart. Absolutely love that. I do think that you could have potentially, like, the MPV tractor has a little bit of cargo, so you could probably get rid of the MPV tractor, get rid of the Golem, because you already have cargo hauling with the Starlancer Max. You could get rid of those, and then maybe even the Salvation, and then you could chuck in, like you said before, the Vulture, and then potentially a Prospector. So then you have mining and Vulture. Or you do the Vulture and then you do the Rock, and then you can travel the Rock around, and then you've got space for other things you could put in there, maybe like a small ground vehicle. I like it, but I don't like it too much. I just think although it's going for hauling with guns and light industry, I'm going to be the stickler that says that the terms and conditions of the concierge challenge is well-rounded fleet, and I think it's just missing some areas for me. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go with a 7 because no minus points for missing out any of the money-wise. But there's just a couple of things that shouldn't necessarily be there and could be changed for other things. So yeah, I'm probably gonna go for a 7.
Fair. CJ, you want to go next, or should I go next?
Yeah, no. So there's a couple of things for me that, like, overlap a bit. Personally, if you're going for a well-rounded fleet, I wouldn't have bothered with both multi-role combat and solo combat. I would have gone for one or the other. The Paladin is going to be way more versatile. I know it'll get outmatched by a good Gladius pilot, but a good turret gunner on a Paladin and a good pilot combo will make a Gladius pay. And also now with the new Maelstrom changes that are coming up, the Paladin can punch higher, whereas the Gladius can't. Golem is a staple in every fleet for the moment. It kind of has to be there. Again, very biased, but still. And then Salvation. Yeah, I get it. It's cheaper. It does salvage. It's not best in slot, in my opinion. But I'm not going to rate it down for that. LX and the Medivac, we've seen these in many, many fleet compositions. Not much to talk about there. Does make sense. MPV Tractor, hate it. And I get it because you maxed out the price. But if you got rid of the Gladius, you could have upgraded that MPV Tractor. And actually, I'm just going to search how much the tractor is. Yeah, so an extra like $20 on top of that, you could have got yourself a free 15p, which could have also replaced the Avenger Titan. You could have got, if you had the money to get the coffee machine and all the fancy extras on it, but the MPV Tractor doesn't have a quantum drive. So yes, it's for like slinging cargo containers locally, but the free 15p can do that as well. And it has a quantum drive. And it's luxurious, so it can be your daily driver. So it basically replaces the Avenger Titan and the MPV Tractor in a combo. You get rid of the Gladius as well. You save a little bit more money. Starlancer Max, we've seen a few of those. Makes sense. Good cargo. But I don't think the MPV Tractor suits the Starlancer Max because the cargo load in areas is below. So it might be quite awkward to get around. You need a lot of like working space. But it would be good to see a ATLS on there instead of the MPV Tractor, because then the ATLS goes in the Starlancer Max. You've got your offload capability the other side, whereas now you're missing that offload capability. It's a good fleet, and I think it's chosen off of vehicles that people like, not necessarily how well they work together. Bold shout seeing a Paladin in there. I think it's the first one we've had so far. I don't think we've seen a Paladin elsewhere. I rate it. I don't mind it. The Paladin is quite nice looking, and it does fight above its own weight. Yeah, I'd have to agree with a 7. Maybe 7. I think I'm set on there. It's missing science, missing a main crafting vehicle. I know the Salvation could do minor crafting with small hand tools, but yeah, I just think it's missing a couple of little bits.
Yeah,
Gridimus has data as well, and it's also missing mining, which is one of the things for me. Which mining and crafting are going to be huge
Golem
in the game coming up.
Golem's mining.
Got the Golem.
Oh,
for
sorry,
mining.
I was thinking Golem, like the
Hand minables.
the Ox. That's what I was thinking of for a
the
second.
Ox, the transport.
Yeah.
But the
Still
Ox,
seven.
the MPV Tractor does kind of fulfill the role of the Ox, but again, no quantum drive. So,
Thanks, Gritty.
yeah, I think the Tractor is the Achilles on this one for me.
Yeah, so for me, I love the Ursa Medivac just straight off the rip. It's got medical, it's good, and I like the Pulse LX. You didn't really need the Ursa Medivac with the Starlancer Max because of the fact that it has a medical bay on it, and the Ursa Medivac can only fit in the Starlancer Max in that entire fleet. So that's the only thing you're going to be transporting it in. So you're sort of doubling up your medical capabilities.
The Max doesn't have medical capabilities. The TAC does.
Oh, the TAC. You're right. I beg your pardon. I go back to my original point. I love the Ursa Medivac to be as part of this fleet straight off the rip. So, yeah, the Pulse LX being able to fit in anything, and the Ursa Medivac going into the Max is a beautiful thing. I think that's a really good start to the fleet. I totally agree with CJ. The MPUV Tractor has no part in any fleet for me. I think it is a useless ship. I almost feel like you could drop that and even have got something like a Fury to put into the It's a squeeze into the Starlancer Max. I know it hasn't got that Fury Bay, but I think they still fit in the back because they're so small. So it's another thing you can transport with it if you wanted an extra ship. If you did that, you could also then get rid of the Gladius. And again, I don't think you need so many different fighters. The Avenger Titan, whilst the Gladius is a fantastic fighter, the Titan can hold its own. And I've seen many Avenger Titans beat Gladiuses in dogfights. Obviously, if you have two pilots that are equally skilled, then the Gladius will win. But for the most part, the Titan can really hold its own, and it is so fast. So I almost just want to get rid of the Gladius entirely and spend that money elsewhere to do a bigger upgrade. Maybe something with getting rid of the tractor, the MPVU tractor and the Gladius, and you have a bit more of a bankroll to maybe even upgrade something like the Golem to a what do you call it? What's the MISC? Not the Fortune. It's the
Prospector.
Prospector. I think that might be a bit more in range, or even like the Salvation could be upgraded to something else. But
that's the more reasonable option.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can then take the Salvation up to something different. But then you do lose your salvage capabilities because the jump from Salvation to the Vulture is quite a big jump, I believe.
Vulture. Doesn't fall within. So the Gladius is $90. The Salvation is $60. So it gives you $150, and the Vulture is $175. So you got to also.
How much is the MPVU tractor though?
That's 40.
Oh, so you
could
so
take
get rid of that
as
and then
well.
you've got enough.
Get rid of that
Yeah.
as well.
And then potentially you could then potentially get like a small land vehicle then, because we haven't seen like an STV or something like this.
Yeah, that's what I'd get rid of the Gladius, get rid of the MPVU tractor, upgrade the Salvation to a
Get
Vulture,
an ATLS.
and then get an ATLS, and I think that's a solid fleet. Yeah, that's what I personally think. I think that MPVU tractor has no real need. What are you going to take? You can't fit it in the Max, so where are you ever going to take it? I think it's just a pointless ship. It's made to really go with the Idris, and even then it hasn't got a quantum drive. Are you taking 16 SCU from an Idris down? I don't know. I don't see a point of that in the game in general. But yeah, so
It'd be good for base building though. Locally moving things from one like manufacturing plant to another manufacturing plant within
That's
your
the whole
base or
reason
your
why.
orgs complex.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why I was thinking it as well. Like the MPV tractor will be amazing when base building comes in, but until then, like, or even in the top of like a Polaris or something, like during the some of the like cargo hauling events, having one of those that can just pop out and grab things and just truck them over. Like it has been useful in the past, but it's very specific use cases, and this isn't it.
fair. You can get 8 SCU in the back of the Avenger Titan as well, which is half of the tractor. But yeah, I think that's my main point. So I would make 3 changes, which is the Gladius, MPVU, upgrade the Salvation. They would be the 3 changes, and then I think it's a really solid fleet. So for that, I'm going to deduct 3 points, and I'm going to join you boys with a 7. But I love everything else. I'm a big fan of the Starlancer. Paladin is just a chef's kiss. That's a great shout, bold move, and one that I think we've all appreciated. And then Pete, you haven't given your score
Pete's
yet.
just pulled a face then when you said that, so I'm waiting to hear what he's going to come in with.
I mean, all of you are the same. Like, come on, get some uniqueness to you. It's a 6.5 from me.
Oh. Come on then, give us your a 6 from Spike in chat.
Yeah, we need
let's get
everyone
some
in chat
chat.
as well.
Yeah,
Everyone in chat, get your scores.
Everyone
going.
in chat, please post your scores in chat so we can work out chat. Put it in chat, okay? As if I haven't said the word chat enough. Stop chatting.
I really struggle with the MPUV tractor, like to know where it fits. Like I said, there's the overlap. Titan versus the Gladius. I'd still choose the Gladius over that.
Gridimus 7.5.
But choose a
But-
golem over a Gladius.
You could downsize from the,
a better
Avenger
fighter.
Titan. So downsize from the Titan to something like a Drake Cutter or a Cutler Rambler. Release the tractor, melt the Salvation. Yeah. Try
rid of
and get
the-
a Vulture in there.
Get rid of the Gladius Titan MPV tractor and get a Clipper.
I like that the Paladin is in there, but it doesn't fit with what he's put forward with like hauling.
Hauling with guns,
With
yeah,
guns.
'cause that's
so
just
that's
guns.
the Starlancer Max. You know, that's hauling with guns. There's a
Because you can
lot
have
of
turret
ship
gunners on that as well.
that you can buy with the Paladin money. I think it's like 275, is it, or is it more?
Starlancer Max.
No, the Paladin is
Free
350.
treat titty.
That's a lot, man. That is 35% of your budget has gone on fun, and I respect that. But
What about joy? Somebody think of the
Yeah.
children, man. Come on, just smile on someone's face.
it
Any more
ticks the
scores on the
multi-crew
doors,
for
chat
me,
people?
which is good.
Scores on the doors.
But the Starlancer Max also ticks the multi-crew gameplay box. I think you could have then looked to tick further boxes. I think you guys are ranked too high with 7. Actually, it's more of a 6.
I'm gonna grab me some water.
I'm gonna go 6. Actually, give me a 6.
All right.
Sorry, Dreamsmith, you're getting a 6 from me. I just think the budget could have been put to better use.
Yeah, no, I agreed with that. I just my deductions were based on a point per thing that I would change, and I think there were the 3 things that I would change in that fleet. If I was working with that fleet, there's 3 changes I would make. But yeah, 6 is a valid shout. I was thinking maybe 6.5, but maybe a bit harsh because most of it on there is really good. So yeah, I'm liking this fleet, but not as much as some of the other ones we've had. And I will say, is there anyone else in chat that would like to weigh in on their scores? We have 2 scores to add to our scores so far, which currently average out to 6.75 for chat at the moment.
Are we rounding up? Well, I can't remember what decimal point are we doing to?
Maybe 6.8. We go to 1 decimal point, so 6.8.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all
Currently
round
6.8
up.
for chat.
Who have we still got lingering?
Who else? Roll up, roll
can
up.
see-
Get
I
your
can see
scores. Get your scores on the doors. 1 to 10, 1 to 10. What do you think of the ship? Starlancer Max, Starlancer going once, going twice. Starlancer Max. Paladin. Get your Paladin. Lots of guns, lots of fun. Lots of guns, lots of fun. Woo.
It's probably been the lightest Drake fleet on the go so far, with just 1 vehicle. I might change mine to like a 3 or a 4.
I was just going to say, there's a hint in his voice there. We're like, well, I'm going to put a 1 for this. No Drake, no can do.
You know, I graded it very, very, very highly.
Very generously.
Yeah.
Mr. Drake himself.
He's wearing the shirt, man.
I think that's his E-card, doesn't it?
I think, yeah, there's definitely like the MPV tractor, the Titan, the Gladius can all be swapped out. You can just replace it. To be fair, get rid of the Ursa Medivac as well. You can get a Clipper in there. Like it's got the med bed, it's got crafting, and I don't know what the budget is left over on that, but I assume it's about $100. So you could probably upgrade that Salvation to a Vulture, and 3 Drake ships. That's probably like a good 8.5, nearly 9 in my opinion. But
I think put me down to a 6.5. I was umming and ahhing, but I think 6.5, and we've got a 6.8 for chat. And then I'll work out the scores. If anyone else wants to change.
if you want me to get rid of the Paladin for a Cutlass Black, then so be it. But I wouldn't get the Cutlass Black. I'd get rid of the Paladin for a Cutlass Blue, because then you've got your bounty hunting with the same DPS output, same missile capability. Then I've got an extra another $175, which I can just buy a Vulture straight outright and get rid of the Salvation completely. I buy the 315p in there, Clipper as well. That's nearly a 10. I think you've just described my fleet. Not gonna lie.
Air raid it.
And it is closer to my fleet. Not it is closer to what I've actually got in mind. So there may be a cutter in there somewhere, a Cutlass in there somewhere.
When are we going to release ours? I mean, I've filmed one, but I need to edit in all my B-roll and stuff
soon.
I need to actually just come up
TM.
with mine, because at the moment it was just Pioneer, and then I chucked a couple of other things in. But
It's a concept. You can't.
No,
have
I
the
know.
concept.
Yeah.
Well, if you're the closest to doing the video, we'll get yours up first, and then we'll follow with ours. Or do we release all 4 videos at the same time?
Let's have a think after the show.
What ship costs exactly £100? I'm just going to get 10 of them.
Hawk.
10 hawks.
which I think is what Kyosa did, right? He just
Arrows.
He did arrows.
He did arrows. Yeah,
arrows,
he did 11 or 12 arrows
Yeah.
because he keeps crashing them into the ground when he's low flying, so he needs them.
Plus, you've seen his videos. He does awesome things in an arrow. So let the man do his arrows, you know?
Yeah.
10
Chat
for
was
me.
6.8,
6.8 in chat.
and then I was 6.5 because I've reduced mine by 0.5, and that's given us an average of 666, so 6.7.
Oh, we're not ending on 6 points. You're right.
Yeah, we are.
I'm a 6.5
Yeah, we
as well.
I've got to recalculate it.
Recalculate it. I'm not ending on a 666.
Yeah, we are. The number of the beast.
Religious man, are we?
No,
I'm just
I'm just trying not to add to my list of reasons why I'm going to catch fire.
Okay, 6.56, so it's still a 6.6.
Ah, mate, Gridibus is playing Balatro. What a game! So simple but so effective.
666. My sister bought me a headphone stand for Christmas, and it looks like some kind of demonic tree from Diablo or something.
Nice.
But it just sits nicely on top. When you're 666, I was like, yeah, works for me. Very cool.
So, final score was 6.6.
Yes.
Nice. And there we go.
Yeah.
Final score 6.6. And that is going to bring us to the end of this episode of the Quantum Dispatch. So thank everyone. Is there any final words before we close out? Any final words from you boys for this week? Are we excited?
Roll on 4.7.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say if you agree with us, put it in the chat and say, yeah, completely agree with your scoring. If you disagree, also put that in chat and say, hey, like I disagree. So you're watching later on YouTube. Do you know what? I think that this would have been that. We do read the comments. We do go, actually, that's a good shout. And we do try and bring a lot of what we see back into the podcast. We're always looking to improve. However, if you want to also have your fleet up on screen, have us roast it, and then you can fight us in the comments, then head over to quantumdispatch.co.uk, and then CJ has put together an amazing website. Follow the steps there. And yeah, submit your own fleet with our super easy tool.
Only fleets.
Only fleets.
It works
Only
out all the
fleets.
prices for you, and you get a drop down of all the ships that are available. It's a very good tool. Jump on there, get involved in the concierge challenge, and you will be rated at some point. We are working our way through. We have actually got quite a few of a backlog, so we do one a week. So make sure you get involved, and you will absolutely appear on the show at some stage. Okay, thank you ever so much for watching, everyone in chat. We really appreciate the support. Everyone listening on Spotify, we hope your ears have enjoyed, and enjoy the rest of your whatever you're doing, driving to work, making a dinner, having a wank.
We'll get a different
and then- Can that go out on Spotify? Can that go out on Spotify?
It's too late.
Having a boop, and then we'll just leave their imagination to come up with the rest. Yeah. And we'll have a different celebrity guest star to read out the blurb for someone else's concierge challenge next week.
Beautiful.
Maybe
I hope
Arnie,
it's
who
Sean
knows?
Connery again, but
Yeah. It was Corn Shonery, his brother. We can't get the real one.
yeah.
Right?
All right. Thank you.